Well, now, if you have yourself 100,000 Kenyan shillings that you've saved and you're looking forward into investing that money, but you're confused, you don't know exactly what you can do. And by the way, not only 100,000, if you have 50, 80, 200, 400, a million, okay, you can actually apply this formula that I'm going to teach today and you can be able to invest your money and make something at the end of the day. All right, now, this is the point. I've prepared everything on this board in a very systematic manner so that you grasp the maximum information out of this video. And by the way, it's good to remind you this, that I always prepare videos like this one. So if you don't want to miss any of my good videos in future, this is what you do. And by the way, it is free, it is fast, doesn't cost you anything, only 1 second. Down below there on your right, there is like a small button written subscribe. Hit that magical button, turn that notification bell, and like this video. And guess what? By only doing that, a whole YouTube will notify you whenever I upload a new good video. So for now, let's get into the business. Okay, now this is the point. This is our budget. You have yourself 100,000 Kenyan shillings. Is the money that you want to invest. Okay, now the point is this. Now, how or where do you get started? That is the question that I do receive from majority of the guys. Now, this is where I want you to understand. There are two distinctive things that you need to understand. There are things that we call them businesses, and there are things that we call them investments. And this is where people get confused. It's good I differentiate these two things. Sometimes someone can call me and tell me I want to invest, and when I listen to them, I realize they want to start a business, not investing. Those are two different things. But anyway, the point is this. I know I used the term invest, but with this context, I meant like both of them, okay? Now, when you talk about businesses, you're talking about things that they have high risks and they do what? They have high return. What do I mean? Like, for example, if you take your 100,000, go and invest in something like selling mutumba, or go invest in something like, or go start a business, selling something like, vegetables and what have you. One thing is that business is very susceptible. Actually, it has very high risk, okay? It can actually go down into the drain. And at the same time, if it picks up, then you can make a lot of money out of that. So that's why we say they have high risk and they usually have what? High returns. On other hand, we usually have the investments. What do happen is that they do have low risks and they usually have low returns. You see, you don't risk. For example, if you take your money and put like this 100,000, you can put in a treasury bill. If you put this money into a treasury bill, you are almost 100% sure your money is safe. You'll get it back and you are good to go. All right. Or maybe you buy a piece of land. You are sure the land will be there. Nobody can steal it, and blah, 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 and all those kind of things. But what happens is that they usually have low returns. Okay, now this is the point. Now, the very first thing you ask yourself is this. Now, am I inclined towards that what have high risk or low returns or something of sort? Where do you incline yourself? If you're on this category, then I'm gonna end with that one. If you're on this category, this is what I'm gonna start with. Okay, if you want something that has high risk and has high returns, this is the point for you. And these are normal businesses that me and you we know. All right, now let's get started. Now, for you to start a business, there are four things actually you need to consider before starting a business. Number one, do you want to start a business that you have an experience on? Let's say maybe you're watching this business right now, and maybe you're watching this business from an electronic shop. You are employed, all right? Or maybe let's say electrical shop. Right now, you are employed and you're watching this video. The point is this: if you want to start a business, I usually advise start that you have the experience with or on, so that at least, because you know the nitty-gritties, you know the pricing of that product, probably you know where you get this product and all those kind of things, okay? And maybe let's say you're employed in a hotel and you know very well how a hotel runs. When I say hotel in Kenya, we mean like restaurants and what have you. So if you have an experience over that, you can start a business that is inclined toward that area because you already have an experience over that. You see, there was somebody who was employed, a friend of mine was employed in a butchery. And that butchery was doing good and the guy had an experience. The guy had a very good relationship with customers. The guy got the money and then invested that money into a boutique business. And I was like, bro, what just happened? I mean, you came all the way from the butchery experience and now you're starting a boutique. And guess what? It didn't end up well with him. I told him, you made a mistake. All right, you made a mistake, and I told you, you're supposed to get into the business that you already understand. Have you ever seen these guys who are actually employed by Muhindi, and then after some time they start the same business, they become successful? Because you already have the experience. The other one is expertise, something that you have ever went to school to learn about. Maybe let's say you went to hospitality school, or let's say like you went to university and studied things to do with hospitality, whatever, catering, pastry, baking, bakery, and whatever, what have you. You can start a business based on that industry. The other thing is that a passion. You're passionate about a certain business. This is a good thing, because in most cases when you start a business that you're passionate about, even if this goes into down drain, then at the end of the day you usually have that zeal to keep on pushing, so that at least you can realize the dream that you have. And the last one but not the least is that what's moving. And personally, if you ask me, I always love to I love always to start a business that I either have an experience about, and the other thing is that something that is moving. Those are the things that in most cases I find them appropriate whenever you're starting a business. About expertise, this is the knowledge about the books, okay? No problem with that. But there's something that I usually discourage most of the time is about passion. Starting a business that you're passionate about it. You might have the passion about that. For example, that guy who was employed in a butchery business, but he had a passion about fashion. So he went to the fashion. He wasted all his money just because he loved the fashion. The point is not you loving it. The point is about making money. And I always give a very simple example. There are people who sell stones and sand for the construction. Who love stones and sands? You don't have to be passionate about it, but it's making some G's. That's where you put your money. Simple. Now, after now understanding where you want to start your business, let's say you want to incline towards the experience. Let's say you want to incline towards the what's moving. What's moving means like, fine, where you are right now, what's moving? Like, really, what can sell? Okay, let's say you've just migrated to a new town and you realize, hey, there is a problem with water here. I mean, I can start a water refill business. I mean, there is a problem with cereals in this area. I can be able to start this one. Hey, I'm actually in Oshago. There is a problem with people buying eggs and what have you. I can start some poultry farming and something of sort. So what's moving, that's what dictates. Hey, guess what? I'm coming from an area where there is a lot of construction. I only have 100K. I can be able to buy cement at a discounted price, then be able to resell to these guys. I can be able to buy some paints and distribute to those guys and make some cash out of that. Okay, that is exactly how you do your thing. Now, after now identifying this, now you go to the actuality of the specifics of the business. For example, with 100K, guess what? Under the beauty related industry, you can start yourself like a salon. See, it doesn't have to be like a humongous salon. I always tell people there are three categories of business. There is a small, there is medium, and there is large. Okay, you can start about that. The other thing, you can start like a boutique selling about clothing. You can do both mutumba. What we mean by mutumba in Kenya, we mean like the second hand clothing. And the other one, you can actually go ahead and do something like the new clothing and what have you. Or you can decide to go to a whole different of a specific niche. You can sell sneakers. I think sometimes bills of a sneaker goes for like 10,000, 15, 20 or something of that. You can pick it up and go do something about it. Okay. Now, the other thing, you can be able to do the fashions and clothing and what have you. Okay. Now, under the food business, you can actually go ahead and do the cereals. You see, where you come from, that's what dictates exactly what you can be able to start. Sometimes I get to be asked some question by people, hey, Joseph, what business can I start so that I do 1, 2, 3? I tell them, hey, you know, what defines what you can be able to start is what actually moves in that specific area. You can be able to buy yourself like a small ATM machine. It usually goes for 40,000. You can buy for the cooking oil, and then the rest of the amount, obviously, there's renting, there is branding of that specific business, and then you can incorporate some few cereals there. Okay. The other thing you can do are some grocery store, okay, where you're selling both vegetables, you're selling as well as the fruits, and you can as well incorporate some other like the pudding, the juices, and what have you. So that amount of money can actually do you good. Well, you may not be able to buy like heavy machines, but if you buy yourself like a blender, quite a nice blender, you can get started. The other thing is that, but again, for you to actually incorporate juices and pudding, that is not defined or dictated by you. It's defined or dictated by the actuality on the ground. Okay. The last one but not the least on this category is the services industry. This amount of money is enough to start you a daycare. And by the way, you might be shocked. You only don't need like this huge amount of money to start a daycare. You can start from your own house. It's simple. All you need to do is just get the chairs and what have you off, buy yourself, cover the entire room with viewers with good fluffy carpet, buy yourself a nice screen if you do not have a screen, buy an ending programs of cartoons, of which you can get them here on YouTube, you can stream them live and what have you. Buy, and maybe if you get yourself lots of kids in board, then you can actually incorporate a certain helper whereby you can actually go ahead and help each other. If you realize that your home is a bit squeezed, maybe you're living in a flat or something, you can go down there, find a place whereby you can rent several few units, maybe let's say 1 or 2, depends with the number. It's always good to start with the 1 unit. Then from there, you can actually be able to go ahead and offer the quality services, offer security in that specific area. And again, with this amount of money, you can do something and move to the next level. That's how we do it. Some of these, kindergarten schools, that's how they started, as a daycare. And that's how you realize the dream of a school. That's how we proceed. All right. Am I making sense up to this particular point? Then, if I am, then hit that like button and let's move to the next level. Now, are we exhausted with all the things to do with businesses? Obviously no. There are an unending list of businesses that you can actually go ahead and start with this amount of money, likes of the kinyozi, barbershop, and what have you, cyber. If you want to get yourself into this kind of a thing, also you can also get yourself into agriculture. If you come from the up country, you can do farming, you can do animal farming, you can do other the food, but still you can do butchery business and what have you. You can do small cyber and what. I mean, there are an ending list of businesses. But what makes you start that business? This is not the important part. I know the reason why you click this video, you wanted me to talk about this, not this. But the important part of the business is this, not this. You see, even if you get yourself a very nice place and you can start a business, but you do not understand whether you're starting a business that you have an experience and all those kind of things. You don't understand has high risk and whatever. The other thing is that management and whatever, bookkeeping, how you manage your finance and what have you, you fail. This doesn't make sense if this one doesn't make sense to you. This one first makes sense, and it's kind of boring when I start with it because I know you like, okay, when the moment I introduce the video, you want me to talk about this. I can't talk about this before laying a foundation for you to understand this area. All right, now let's go to the other part. Now, these are the individuals who are like, okay, fine, I do have myself 100,000. Okay, well, I'm not looking forward into starting a business that requires me making calls, whatever, being there physically and what have you. I just want to take my money and put it somewhere, work for me, I just relax and do other things. Okay, maybe you're employed, maybe you're busy, maybe you already have these businesses in existence, but you're wondering, now I don't want to pump more money on this, I just want to diversify and do some things. Okay, now this is a piece for you. On this category, I did say when I introduced this video is that they have low risks and they usually have what? Low returns. Okay, that's why I tell people, hey, you can take this 100,000, put it in an MMF that is giving you 10%, which is like 10,000. Ukitoa tax is like 9 or 8,000. They're like, what? I put 100,000 for a whole year. They give me 10,000. I tell them, yes, that's a huge amount. I mean, that's amazing. They're like, amazing? Yeah, it is amazing. And they ask me, why is it amazing? I tell them, you did nothing about that. I mean, you never made a call. You never did anything. You never followed about anything. You just slept and boom, you have your 10K. Now that's the time now it starts to make sense into them or with them. So the point is this: when you talk about investments, okay, it's usually good that you understand you usually have low risk and usually have low returns. Now, what are examples of the investment that you can be able to do? You actually, with this amount of money, you can actually buy yourself a piece of plot somewhere 50 by 100 in a remote areas. Sure, I saw some plots are being sold in Ukambani, Malindi, and what have you. But again, before you buy any piece of land, you got to be very careful. It's a very, very murky waters, okay? You have to be very careful where you buy. But again, whichever the case is that you can actually buy a piece of land and quote unquote in Kenya tunasema, or we say, unaitupa tu huko, meaning like you literally, throw it out there and you kind of forget. But anyway, how can you forget your property? You cannot do that. But just you get what I'm saying. Now, the other one is the treasury bills and bonds. I mean, the minimum for you to invest in it. By the way, if you have the 100K, you're already qualified for both bonds and bills. When I say both, I don't mean like you invest them concurrently. I mean like you can invest on bonds and you can as well invest on bills. Because minimum on bills is 100 Gs. You already have it. Minimum on treasury bonds, 50K. I mean, seriously, you've already exceeded the point. Now, point is this: you can get yourself in treasury bills and bonds. Nowadays, they're giving quite a good interest in terms of 13, 14, sometimes 15, 16, okay, something of sort. Quite amazing. Bond fund. This is a bond fund, you can invest in this bond, okay? I've actually made a video whole about this thing. You can check on my older videos. Now, the index fund, it is about the companies that have been brought together and then they're given like a rating and what have you. Then you can buy those companies and what. There are several of them. You can check them on the NSE. That is Nairobi Securities Exchange. You can check them out there. You can be able to invest on index fund and what have you. MMF, okay? A money market fund. I don't want to talk much about that. I've been talking that like a million times. The other one is about shares and circles. Another one that I should have included here, something rates. It's about buying the shares of investment in real estate and what have you. It's called rates. Actually, it's sort of a new in Kenya, but not like so much new. It's a thing that a majority of people do not know whether it exists, but it's an area where you can put your money. But this is my parting shot down here. It says always diversify. What does it mean? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure that at least you diversify and make something at the end of the day. Hey, guess what? If you're first time watching me, my name is Joseph. Talk about money, investment, anything related to exactly that. Then if that's a cup of your coffee, of which I bet it should be. I mean, seriously, who hates money? All right. So call this place a home. You can join and be a member of this channel as well. You can just subscribe and watch my videos. And thank you for your eyeballs. Until the occasion, for now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one. But before I say that, hey, you can as well grab my number. My number is on the description of this specific video. You can give me a call. We can have a conversation. I offer services at a personal level. Obviously, for a cup of coffee price. I do have myself booklets on business plans. I do have business plans ready for you. Each, whatever you want. A piece is 280 Kenyan shillings. For now, it's a goodbye. See ya.